Hey, what's up, folks? So, as I prepare to more intentionally activate this space and this Patreon and this perspective, that I'm still formulating it, but it's much more coherent than it was even just a few months ago. All of the different pieces, all the different research that I've been compiling over the past few years, and even before then, it's now finally starting to come together. But I wanted to take a step back because later this month, things are going to get really started, like in this new direction, or with a more unified direction. But I wanted to take some time and talk about uh, how I developed an interest in this and my own perspective on this and why I have decided to even focus on this topic in the first place. And a lot of it comes down to my own life, living in Philadelphia, having a lot of interesting but also difficult experiences. And I think it goes back to this concept that I'm really interested in called syncretism, which is about the blending and merging of separate ideas and concepts and cultures into something new and different. And I do believe that my life is in some ways an example of this, like coming into contact with other communities and other people and other ideas, and sort of like taking these ideas and taking these cultures and like merging them with my own. And for me, this started when I left home as a 12-year-old, because of all the problems that are happening in the ghetto, as they call it, and the poverty and some physical abuse that was going on. I could no longer stay in my home. It didn't feel like a home. So I left home. I ended up in the northern suburbs, which is a heavily Jewish area. And then after that, I was in the lower northeast, which pretty much the same demographics. And it's kind of there that I learned or began to learn about World War II history because obviously in that sort of demographic, they're very interested in teaching about their history and making sure that people understand about fascism. And I appreciate that education. And I think that my attachment and my admiration of Klemperer is sort of like an extension of my admiration of some of these Jewish teachers that I had growing up. And I think Chomsky is another example of that. So, what I want to get clear to people is that being cynical in some ways and being critical doesn't mean that my foundation of this is like hating people and just being a hater or whatever. It's not about that. It's about the fact that I can't ignore certain things that are happening. I can't ignore what's going on, even though I do have contacts and attachments to certain communities here. I can't ignore what's going on today. I can't pretend that I don't know that synagogues and other religious organizations around here are raising money for the genocidal IDF and that they're all supporting this fucked up shit that's going on. I can't pretend that I don't know that that's going on just so that other people don't feel offended. Come on. I mean, this is threatening to me. And, you know, later in life, years years later, I had this really messed up interaction that kind of encapsulates what I'm talking about. Okay, I had this housing voucher through the state that was administered by a nonprofit, and I had this for over 10 years, 11 years, and then in 2018 they started like warehousing people in this slumlord situation in West Philly. And there's a whole lot to say about that, but for now, just know that the nice apartment I was in, I had to leave because they weren't paying the rent, their rent portion on time. Also, they're like ethnically cleansing West Philadelphia and getting rid of all the people who have housing vouchers and so forth. So Everyone who was in my housing program was put in this apartment on, I think it was 63rd and Chestnut. When I first got there, I noticed that the woman who was managing the property had like this really thick, heavy accent. And I was like, I wonder what this accent is. And the more I was going down there, I started seeing, people dressed in the religious Jewish garb, and I realized, oh wait, she's Israeli. Like this is an Israeli managing this property. Okay, fine. But the issue with the property is that it was infested with roaches, and they weren't doing anything about it. And there were other issues there as well. And as people know, this has been a bone of contention between the black and Jewish communities going back a long time. People being slumlords, people being shady landlords, people being problematic teachers, essentially people being white and being racist. And yet they use their Jewishness as a shield to deflect criticism from that. And what happened in this space is I was fed up with the roaches. I was fed up with them not doing anything and other things that were happening there. And one day, I said to her, I'm going to have to consider like moving out of here because of the roach situation. And this person with this Israeli with a heavy accent said to me, a black American man, someone in my position should be grateful to be living there. Excuse me? Fucking excuse me? I mean, you're not even from here. Come on. So this is an example of how things are happening, fucked up things are happening, related to capitalism, related to our exploitation, related to the fact that we're being fucking screwed over, and people don't want to acknowledge it or accept it. And then when we talk about it, we're branded as being anti-Semitic or a hater or whatever. But no one wants to address the concerns. No one wants to address the things that are happening. And what am I supposed to think, a low-income black person seeing what's happening right now to the Palestinians? What am I supposed to think after everything that's happened and after everything I've seen and experienced, okay? So people who are engaging with this project have to understand this. I can't ignore certain things. I can't pretend that certain things aren't happening. And I can't put myself in the frame of mind of caring more about other people's feelings than about my own material reality and the shit that's going on. So this is just something I want people to keep in mind. I'm going to come back to this again, but I just want to make people aware that there's a range of experiences going on here. There are many different types of people in certain communities. Let's say the Jewish community is an umbrella that has many different types of people under it. And some of them are not really good. Some of them are bad. But what's happening right now is that people are in denial about what's going on in their own community. And when people like me speak about it, we're demonized or whatever. And that really has to change. So I'll be back again with more. Stay tuned.